Thank you so much, Dr. Strober. So why is it so important to be accountable and to be transparent? It's because we really value privacy, right? We really value safety. And those are the next two values I'm going to be talking about here in this video. I think privacy is an interesting ethical consideration because often when we're thinking about ethics, ethics involves going beyond the minimum of what is legally required or required by policy. But with privacy, this is an area where policy tends to align very closely with ethics. The city, as many of you may be aware, has a privacy office, and the city's policies are very clear about privacy and how it should be handled. For example, the city's data classification policy, it describes three levels of restriction for data at the city. There's public data, non-public data, and restricted data. And according to the most recent AI policy at the city, only data classified as public can be used with AI tools and only with approved AI tools and systems. I'll repeat that again because it is very important. Only data classified as public can be used with AI tools and only with approved AI tools and systems. For now, this means Microsoft Copilot. Now, with privacy as an ethical consideration, you always want to be asking what personal or sensitive data is being used or generated when you are using an AI tool. We've been talking a lot about generative AI, but an interesting example at the city might be an AI tool that uses computer vision. Computer vision takes images and then analyzes those images. For instance, an AI tool that uses computer vision on images of city streets to detect objects that are obstructing streets or causing other road issues. So what might be some privacy issues here? Well, this could involve the use of city cameras, but it could also involve data being volunteered by citizens who might be private business owners with cameras that are pointing at streets. Sure, there's some obvious benefits. If such a system were to work well, it would get rid of hazards that pose a danger more quickly than manually monitoring the city streets. But thinking about ethical privacy concerns, what if you're capturing people's faces? What if you're capturing people going about their daily activities without their consent? Is that a privacy issue? Is that infringing on residents' rights? Could this data ultimately be misused? These are questions to think about beyond what is required by policy or law when incorporating AI systems or tools into your work at the city. What is personal? What is sensitive? How is the data being used? How is it being generated? Please keep these considerations in mind. Moving on, an ethical consideration related to privacy is safety. We want to be asking, what are the potential risks of harm, both physical and psychological, from the use of an AI tool? Continuing with the previous example, what if an AI system using computer vision for detecting road obstructions is adopted by the city and replaces previous procedures for handling that sort of issue? Could there be a safety issue if this AI system fails to detect an obstruction or it reports that an obstruction has been cleared when actually it hasn't? So an ongoing hazard to the public would remain, right? So we want to be thinking about, when incorporating AI, how has it been tested and validated in such a way as to minimize those errors? And then also, what are the protocols? How are unexpected outcomes handled in a way that minimizes safety risks? For an example related to generative AI, let's say the city decides to use a chatbot to assist residents in completing an application for a city service or city approval. Let's say using a chatbot for permit applications, a use case being talked about more and more by members of the GovAI coalition. If the applicant receives the wrong form from the chatbot, completes the form, submits it, possibly makes a payment before it becomes clear the wrong form was used, is this a kind of harm? The city resident is now behind on the thing they needed to do. So we can think about the ethical consideration of safety very broadly in relation to outcomes that cause varying degrees of harm to residents or have the potential to cause that harm. So with privacy and safety introduced, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Strover again, who's going to talk about bias and hallucination, which builds upon these questions that I have raised.